My stepsister would like to volunteer. She's over there.
Zara Okonkwo stood in the back corner of the Vancouver Fairmont Hotel ballroom, trying to make herself invisible. The annual Hope Foundation charity gala was in full swing, with Vancouver's wealthiest elite mingling in designer gowns and tuxedos, sipping champagne that cost more per glass than Zara made in a day. She should not have been here. She could not afford to be here. But her stepsister, Alina, had insisted, and when Alina insisted, refusing was not really an option. "Zara, you simply must come," Alina had said that morning, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "It would look so odd if my poor charity case stepsister did not attend. People might think I am not generous enough to share my blessings." Translation: Alina wanted Zara there to make herself look good by comparison. The wealthy, beautiful, successful daughter next to the struggling, scarred, ordinary stepsister. Zara looked down at her dress, a simple black number she had worn to every formal event for the past 3 years. She touched the scar on her right hand self-consciously, a pale raised mark that ran from her wrist to her knuckles. 20 years old, from a fire she barely remembered. "Ladies and gentlemen," the auctioneer's voice boomed. "We are now moving to the dream date auction. 10 eligible bachelors and bachelorettes have generously offered their time for a 24-hour date experience." Alina glided onto the stage in a stunning red gown. The bidding started at $5,000 and quickly escalated to $20,000, won by David Chen, a rival tech CEO. Zara had caught them kissing 2 weeks ago. Alina had simply smiled and said, "If you tell anyone, I will make sure you lose your job." Several more participants were auctioned successfully. Then the auctioneer made an unexpected announcement. "We need one more volunteer to complete our evening." Silence fell over the room. "My stepsister would love to volunteer," Alina called out loudly. "Zara Okonkwo, she is right there in the back, so generous." Welcome back to my channel, family. This is the tale of Zara, a struggling medical researcher with a mysterious scar, and James, a blind tech billionaire who has been searching for someone from his past for 20 years. When a charity auction forces them together, neither realizes they share a connection that goes back to childhood. This is a story about second chances, hidden identities, sensory romance, dangerous enemies, and the moment when darkness finally meets light. Grab your tissues, settle in, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. This one is special. Let's continue. Heads turned. The spotlight swung to Zara. "Wonderful," the auctioneer said. "Ms. Okonkwo, please come to the stage." Zara felt her face burning as she walked through the crowd. Who is she? Look at that dress. Is that a scar on her hand? How unfortunate. Under the bright lights, she felt exposed and ridiculous. Ms. Zara Okonkwo, the auctioneer read from a hastily scribbled card. Medical researcher. The winning bidder will enjoy a day of intellectual conversation. Shall we start the bidding at $1,000? Silence. $500. More silence. Alina was laughing with her friends. $100. I will bid 100 voices. It was Marcus, her childhood best friend. But then another voice spoke, a woman's voice, crisp and professional. $10,000. The room gasped. An elegant older woman in her 60s stood near the entrance. $10,000, the auctioneer repeated, shocked. Wait, another voice interrupted. Male, younger, $20,000. $20,000 from the representative of Mr. James Park, the auctioneer announced excitedly. James Park, founder and CEO of Park Tech Solutions. Going once, going twice, sold. Applause filled the room. Zara stumbled off stage in a daze. Backstage, the elegant woman approached. Ms. Okonkwo said, I am Dorothy Chen, Mr. Park's executive assistant. Mr. Park requests that you meet him tomorrow at 10 at his residence. She handed Zara a card with an address. But I do not understand, Zara stammered. Mr. Park values intelligent conversation, Dorothy said. He was intrigued by your medical research background. Please be prompt. Before Zara could ask more, Dorothy was gone. The park residence was an architectural masterpiece overlooking the ocean. Inside, Zara noticed everything seemed designed for accessibility. Raised tactile markers, audio cues, furniture in clear pathways. "Is Mr. Park disabled?" Zara asked. Dorothy gave her a sharp look. "Mr. Park is blind. He has been since he was 9 years old." "I did not know," Zara said. "I am sorry." "Mr. Park does not consider his blindness a disability," Dorothy said. "He has adapted. Now please, he is waiting." In the study, a man sat by the window. James Park was beautiful, with Korean features, high cheekbones, and dark sunglasses hiding his eyes. He was completely still, his head tilted as if listening. "Mr. Park," Dorothy said, "Ms. Okonkwo has arrived." "Thank you, Dorothy," James said, his voice deep and smooth. "Please leave us." After she left, silence filled the room. James did not move. "You are nervous," he finally said. "Yes," Zara admitted. "I do not understand why you bid on me." "I know you are a medical researcher specializing in neurological damage," James said. "I know you applied 3 times to the Hope Foundation and were rejected. I know you work 60-hour weeks for barely enough to cover rent. I know your stepsister treats you terribly." Zara felt cold. "How do you know all that?" "I make it my business to know things," James said. "This was a mistake," Zara said, turning away. "Wait," James said. "Please, I apologize, I am too direct. It is a flaw. Please sit, let me start over." Zara hesitated, then sat. James removed his sunglasses. His eyes were dark, intense, but unfocused, looking past her. "I am blind," he said. "I have been since I was 9. There was a fire. I was trapped. Someone saved me, pulled me out, but the smoke damaged my optic nerves. I have been searching for that person for 20 years. He paused. "I do not remember much, but I remember a voice, a girl's voice, and I remember she had a scar." Zara held up her right hand, showing the pale raised mark. "I have a scar," she said quietly, "from a fire when I was 7. I pulled someone out, a boy." The room went silent. "May I touch your hand?" James asked, his voice barely a whisper. Zara extended her hand. James traced the scar carefully, his touch gentle. His breath caught. "It is you," he said. "After 20 years, it is you." Neither spoke. James continued tracing the scar, disbelief and wonder on his face. "I have been looking for you," he said. "I hired investigators, searched fire records, but you disappeared." "My father took me back after the fire," Zara explained. "Then when I was 17, he married Alina's mother. He died 6 months later. I have been stuck with them ever since." "And you do not remember me?" James asked. "I remember the fire," Zara said. "The fear, pulling someone out, burning my hand. But I was 7, I did not know it was you." James stood and walked to the window with practiced ease. "My grandmother is dying," he said. "Cancer, 3 months left. Her greatest wish is to see me married, settled, happy." "I am sorry," Zara said, "but I do not see what that has to do with me." "I am engaged," James said, "to Alina Martinez." Zara's stomach dropped. "Alina is my stepsister." James turned sharply. "What?" "She told the family she is engaged to someone important," Zara said. "She never said who." "Oh, God." "A disaster," James said. "Yes, I have never met her. The engagement was arranged by my grandmother and Alina's mother. They are old friends." Zara thought about David Chen, about the affair. "James," Zara said carefully, "Alina is cheating on you. With David Chen, a rival CEO, I saw them together." James was quiet. "I suspected," he said finally, "but my grandmother was so happy. I did not want to disappoint her without proof." "What will you do?" Zara asked. James turned to face her. "I have a proposal," he said. "A business proposition. Replace her. Pretend to be my fiancé for 3 months. My grandmother will love the story, fate bringing us together. You need money. I will pay you $500,000. "This is insane," Zara said. "Is it?" James asked. "Or is it logical? You saved my life, let me save yours now." "Your grandmother deserves the truth," Zara protested. The truth is I care more about you than Alina, James said. We have a real connection. We do not even know each other, Zara said. Then let us get to know each other, James said. We have 24 hours per the auction rules. Spend that time with me. Talk. If at the end you do not want to do this, I will respect that, but give me a chance. Zara looked at him, this beautiful man who had been searching for her for 20 years. 24 hours, she said, then I decide. James smiled. Thank you, he said. Now are you hungry? I make excellent French toast. James's kitchen was perfectly organized, everything labeled in Braille. He cooked breakfast with practiced precision while Zara watched in amazement. You are starring, James said. How did you know? I can feel it, he said, the way the air shifts. After breakfast, James took her to his music room. Music is how I see color, he explained. Red is a deep cello note, blue is a high piano key. He sat at the piano and played, the melody shifting from melancholy to joyful. That was you, he said when he finished. I composed it just now, based on what I have learned about you. For lunch, they ate sushi blindfolded. I want you to experience food the way I do, James said. Through taste, texture, smell. It was intimate and strange and deeply sensual. That afternoon, James showed her Park Tech Solutions. His employees clearly revered him. But what struck Zara was how he navigated the space with complete confidence, how he had built an empire without seeing any of it. At sunset, they walked along the seawall. Tell me about your research, James said. Zara explained her work on neural regeneration, treatments that could repair damaged nerves, potentially restore sight. You are trying to cure blindness, James said. Among other things, Zara admitted. Do you think I want to be cured? Zara hesitated. Do you? James was quiet. I used to dream about seeing again, he said, but somewhere along the way, I stopped. I realized I did not need sight to be whole. But if there was a treatment, Zara pressed. I do not know, James admitted. It is complicated. Being blind is part of who I am. Would I lose that if I could see? They walked in silence, listening to waves. The 24 hours is almost up, James said. You need to decide. Zara thought about Alina, about 10 years of humiliation. If I do this, she said, I want something more than money. I want my research funded through your company, and I want to try the experimental protocol on you. James stopped. You want to restore my sight? Yes, Zara said. If it works, you get your vision back. If not, you are no worse off. But my research could help millions. I just need backing. I need someone to believe in it. James extended his hand. Deal, he said. 3 months as my fiancé, full funding for your research, and I will consider the treatment. Zara shook his hand. Deal. Neither let go immediately. They stood on the seawall, hands clasped, the beginning of something neither fully understood. The next morning, Zara moved into the Park residence. Dorothy briefed her on the plan. We will announce the engagement in 1 week, she said. That gives us time to prepare. That afternoon, they visited James's grandmother. Sun Park was 92, sharp-minded despite her failing body. Come here, child, she said when she met Zara. Let me look at you. She examined the scar carefully. This is real, she said, not a trick. No, ma'am, Zara confirmed. Sun started crying. I have prayed for this, she said, every night for 20 years. I prayed you would find the angel who saved you. Zara felt guilt twist in her stomach. But Sun continued. I see sadness in your eyes. Pain, someone has hurt you. My grandson sees you, really sees you. Let him. They spent the afternoon with Sun, who told stories about James as a child. How brilliant he had been, how determined. Over the next week, Zara and James fell into a rhythm. Zara worked on her research with access to equipment she had only dreamed about. James ran his company but always made time for dinner. They talked for hours every night. Zara found herself looking forward to these conversations more than anything. She also noticed how carefully James touched things, learning textures, building maps in his mind. "Can I try something?" Zara asked one evening. She placed his hand against her face. "Tell me what you see," she said. James traced her features gently. "High cheekbones," he said. "Strong jawline. Your skin is soft, but your hands are calloused from lab work. You smile more with the right side of your mouth. There is a small scar above your eyebrow. Your hair is natural, thick, textured." His fingers lingered on her lips. "You are beautiful," he whispered. Zara breathed. He pulled away quickly. "I am sorry, that was inappropriate." "No," Zara said. "It was not. It was nice." The engagement announcement was scheduled for the following evening. But that afternoon, Marcus called. "We need to talk," he said urgently. "It is about Alina." They met at a coffee shop. Marcus looked serious. "I have been investigating David Chen," he said. "Alina is not just seeing him behind James's back. They are partners in corporate espionage. They are planning to steal technology from Park Tech and sell it to competitors." What Zara said. Marcus showed her documents, emails between Alina and David, plans to access Park Tech servers, details about proprietary algorithms. "It gets worse," Marcus said. "This is not their first time. They have done this to 3 other companies, made millions selling stolen tech. And Zara, Alina specifically targeted James because of his company. The engagement was never real. It was always about getting access." "And there is something else," Marcus said, his expression darkening. "I found communications suggesting they are planning something for the engagement announcement, something to embarrass or discredit James publicly. I think they want to damage his reputation so badly that when the theft is discovered, people will be less sympathetic." "We have to warn him," Zara said. "There is more," Marcus said. "I found encrypted messages suggesting David Chen has connections to organized crime. People who do not take kindly to interference. Zara, if you expose them, you could be in real danger." Zara felt cold fear wash over her, but she pushed it aside. "I do not care," she said. "James needs to know." She rushed home and found James with Dorothy. "James," Zara said, "we have a problem." She explained everything: the espionage, David Chen's criminal connections, the plan to humiliate James, the threat. James listened without expression. "I am not surprised about the espionage," he said, "but criminal connections, that is more serious than I thought." "What are you going to do?" Zara asked. James smiled, and it was not pleasant. "I am going to let them try," he said. "Dorothy, contact security, round-the-clock monitoring. The moment Alina or David attempt to access anything, I want to know. And contact the police. We will need them ready." "This is dangerous," Zara said. "Marcus said these people are connected to organized crime." "Which is why we are going to be very careful," James said. "Zara, I want you to have a security detail, starting now." "James," Zara started. "No," he said firmly. "You are in danger because of me. I will not let anything happen to you." The press conference went forward as planned. James announced his engagement to Zara, explaining their childhood connection, the fire, the 20-year search. He was eloquent and romantic. The media loved it. By the next morning, their story was viral. But that afternoon, everything went wrong. Zara was leaving the hospital after checking on her research lab when a black SUV pulled up beside her. 2 men got out. "Ms. Okonkwo," one said, "you need to come with us." Zara tried to run, but one grabbed her arm. She screamed and fought, but they were too strong. They dragged her toward the vehicle. Suddenly, her security detail appeared. James had insisted on 2 bodyguards following her at all times. They moved fast, professional, and efficient. "Let her go," one of the bodyguards said, his hand moving to his weapon. The men released Zara and fled. The bodyguards pursued, but the SUV sped away. Shaking, Zara let the bodyguards escort her to James's car, which had been following at a distance. James was in the back seat, his face pale. "Are you hurt?" he demanded, reaching for her. "I am okay," Zara said, but her voice was trembling. "James, they tried to kidnap me." "I know," James said, pulling her into his arms. "I heard everything through the security comm." Zara, I am so sorry. This is my fault. It is Alina's fault, Zara said, and David's, not yours. James held her tighter. I am calling the police right now, he said. This ends today. But when they arrived home, they found the police already there, along with Alina in handcuffs. Dorothy had been monitoring the park tech systems. The moment Alina attempted to access the secure servers using credentials she had stolen, alarms went off. Security had caught her in the act. Marcus had also provided his evidence to the police, who had been building a case against David Chen for months. Alina was arrested on charges of corporate espionage, attempted theft of trade secrets, and conspiracy. As they led her away, she screamed at Zara. This is your fault, she raged. Everything was perfect until you showed up. You think you have one, you think he loves you. It is all fake, he is just using you. The words stung despite everything. Within hours, David Chen was also arrested. Police found evidence of the attempted kidnapping, along with a larger criminal enterprise involving stolen technology and organized crime connections. After everything calmed down, James found Zara sitting alone in the garden. Are you okay? He asked. I do not know, Zara admitted. James, Alina was right about one thing. This started as fake. How do I know what is real? James sat beside her. Let me tell you what is real, he said. It is real that I think about you constantly. It is real that hearing your voice makes me smile. It is real that touching your hand makes my heart race. It is real that I want to know everything about you. Whether this started as business does not matter. What matters is what it has become. And what has it become? Zara whispered. Love, James said. I am in love with you, Zara, completely, terrifyingly. I have been searching for you for 20 years. Now that I have found you, I cannot imagine letting you go. Zara felt tears sliding down her face. I am scared, she said. No one has ever. I do not know how to do this. Neither do I, James said, but we can figure it out together. He found her hand, threading his fingers through hers. Marry me, he said. Not fake. Not for show. Marry me because you want to, because you feel this too. Because we saved each other once and maybe we can keep doing that every day for the rest of our lives. Zara looked at their joined hands, at the scar that connected them across 20 years. Yes, she said. Yes, I will marry you, for real. James pulled her into his arms and kissed her, a kiss that held 20 years of searching, weeks of falling, and a lifetime of promise. 3 weeks later, they were married in a small ceremony at Son's care facility. The old woman sat in the front row, crying happy tears, a security detail now discreetly present following the kidnapping attempt. Afterward, Son pulled Zara aside. You are good for him, she said. I can hear it in his voice, true happiness. Will you try the treatment? Son asked. Will you try to give him sight? Zara had been working non-stop on the neural regeneration protocol. The animal trials showed promise, but the risks were significant. It is his choice, Zara said. What do you want? Son pressed. I want him to be happy, she said, with or without sight. That night, James made his decision. I want to try the treatment, he said. Are you sure? Zara asked. James, the risks are real. The procedure has only a 50% success rate in trials. If something goes wrong, you could lose what limited light perception you still have. You could experience chronic pain. In the worst case, the stem cell injection could cause inflammation that damages surrounding brain tissue. James was quiet for a long moment. I know the risks, he said. But Zara, my grandmother is dying. I want a chance to see her face before she is gone, and I want to see you. Your face. The way light hits your skin, the colors you describe. I have lived 20 years in darkness. I want to take the chance to step into the light. Zara felt tears in her eyes. Okay, she said. Okay, we will do it. The surgery was scheduled for 2 weeks later. Zara assembled the best surgical team available, specialists from around the world. The night before, they lay in bed together. What if it does not work? James asked. What if I wake up still blind? Then we continue exactly as we are, Zara said. I fell in love with you without you seeing me. That will not change. What if I do not like what I see? James asked quietly. What if the visual world is overwhelming? What if I prefer darkness? Then we reverse the treatment, Zara said. The stem cells can be deactivated if needed within the first 6 months. You are not trapped by this decision. You would do that, James asked, undo your own work. If it made you happy, she said, yes. But James, Zara continued, I need you to understand something. There is a real possibility this does not go well. The 50% success rate means 50% failure. You could wake up in severe pain. You could have complications. This is not a simple procedure. I understand, James said, but I am choosing to try, for myself, for my grandmother, for us. The surgery took 8 hours. Zara could not be in the operating room, so she paced in the waiting area, unable to sit still. Sun was there too in her wheelchair, insisting on being present despite her weakness. The procedure was incredibly delicate. The surgeons had to inject engineered stem cells directly into James's optic nerves, which carried the risk of inflammation, infection, or rejection. They had to be precise to the millimeter. When the lead surgeon finally emerged, his scrubs were soaked with sweat. The procedure went as well as we could hope, he said. But Mrs. Park, I need to be honest with you. The next 72 hours are critical. Mr. Park's body could reject the stem cells. He could develop complications. We will not know if it worked until we remove the bandages in 3 days, and even then, there is no guarantee. Zara felt her stomach drop, but he survived the surgery. Yes, the surgeon said, but this is far from over. Those 3 days were agony. James had to keep his eyes bandaged, stay in a dark room, give the stem cells time to integrate. He was in pain. The medication could only do so much, and Zara sat by his bedside constantly. Tell me what is happening outside, James said through gritted teeth. Distract me from this. So Zara described the world beyond his hospital window. The clouds moving across the sky, the boats in the harbor, the people walking far below. On the morning of the 3rd day, the doctor arrived with the surgical team. Sun sat beside the bed in her wheelchair. Zara stood on James's other side, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might break through her chest. Mr. Park, the doctor said, I need to warn you. When we remove these bandages, you may see nothing. You may see only light and shadow. Or you may see clearly. There is no way to predict. Are you ready? Yes, James said, though his voice shook slightly. The doctor carefully unwound the bandages, layer after layer. Finally, the last piece came away. James's eyes were closed. Take your time, the doctor said. Open them slowly. The light will be intense even though we have dimmed the room as much as possible. James took a shuddering breath. Then slowly, carefully, he opened his eyes. For a moment, nothing. James blinked, his eyes unfocused and confused. Then his eyes widened. I see, he whispered. Oh God, I see light. Tears streamed down his face. Shapes, he said. Colors, movement, I can see. The doctor shone a light, tested his responses. James tracked the movement, his eyes struggling to focus but definitely responding. It worked, the doctor said, his own voice thick with emotion. Mr. Park, you can see. But Zara noticed something. James was squinting, his face tense with pain. Does it hurt, she asked. Yes, James admitted. Everything is so bright, so overwhelming. It feels like my brain is on fire trying to process all this input. That is normal, the doctor assured him. Your brain has not processed visual information in 20 years. It will take time to adjust. The pain should decrease as your neural pathways strengthen. James turned his head, looking around the room. His movements were jerky, uncoordinated. Then his eyes found Sun. Hermione, he said, I can see you. Sun was crying. You can see me. James reached out, touching her face while looking at her. You are beautiful, he said, just like I always imagined. Your eyes, your smile, I can see you. Then he turned. His eyes found Zara. For a long moment, he just stared, his eyes struggling to focus. Zara, he breathed. Hi, Zara said, tears streaming down her face. James reached up, touching her face, his eyes following the movement of his fingers. "You are," he started. "I imagined you 1,000 different ways, but you are so much more beautiful than any of them. Your eyes, Zara, your eyes." "What color are they?" Zara asked through her tears. "Brown," James said. "Deep warm brown, like earth, like home." He pulled her down and kissed her, his eyes open, looking at her face. When they broke apart, he was laughing and crying. "I can see," he said. "I can see you, the colors, the light. It is overwhelming, it is incredible." But then he grimaced, closing his eyes. "Too much, it is too much." "That is okay," the doctor said. "Rest. Your brain needs time to process. Vision will come in stages." The weeks that followed were challenging. James could see, but the adjustment was far from smooth. His brain, which had spent 20 years developing heightened senses of hearing, touch, and smell, was now overwhelmed with visual input. He experienced severe headaches. Sometimes he had to close his eyes and sit in darkness just to cope with the sensory overload. "Everything is demanding attention at once," he explained to Zara one evening, eyes closed, leaning back in his chair. "Every color, every movement, every light. My brain does not know how to filter it yet. It is exhausting." "Do you regret it?" Zara asked quietly. "No," James said immediately. "Never. But I understand now why you warned me. This is harder than I thought." "You are still adjusting," Zara said. "Give it time." James also struggled with depth perception. He bumped into furniture, misjudged distances, dropped things. Tasks that had been second nature when he was blind were now difficult because his visual input and his muscle memory conflicted. One morning, Zara found him sitting in the dark in his study, eyes closed. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Sometimes I miss it," he confessed. "The darkness. In the dark, I could focus completely on sound, on touch, on smell. Now my brain is overwhelmed. Sometimes I just want to close my eyes and experience the world the way I used to." "Then do that," Zara said gently. "James, sight is a gift, but it does not have to be the only way you experience things. You spent 20 years developing other ways to perceive the world. Those ways are still valuable." So James learned to balance. Sometimes he would close his eyes during conversations, focusing on voices. Sometimes he would turn off lights and navigate by memory and touch. He learned to integrate his new sight with his old ways of experiencing the world. Slowly, over weeks and months, it got easier. The headaches decreased. His brain learned to filter visual input. His depth perception improved. And he spent hours just looking at things. Sunsets fascinated him. He would stare at the sky for so long Zara worried about his eyes. "This is red," he would say in wonder. "Red is even more beautiful than I imagined." He looked at everything with childlike wonder. Trees, faces, buildings, art. 6 weeks after the surgery, they visited Sun. She was much weaker, confined to bed, struggling to breathe. But when James walked in, she smiled. "You can see," she said. "Really see." "Really see," James confirmed. He sat beside her and took her hand. "Halmione, thank you for everything, for raising me, for believing in me, for pushing me to take chances." "I am so proud of you," Sun said. "You found her. You married her. You can see, my prayers have all been answered." She looked at Zara. "Take care of him," she said. "He is stubborn and brilliant, and sometimes too brave for his own good." "I will," Zara promised. "I love him so much." "I know," Sun said. "I can see it." That night, Sun passed away peacefully in her sleep. James grieved, but not with despair. "I got to see her face," he said. "In her last weeks, I got to see her. That is a gift I never thought I would have. Thank you, Zara." The funeral was beautiful. James gave a eulogy about a woman who never gave up on him, who taught him that limitations were just opportunities to find new ways. Meanwhile, Zara's research made headlines. The successful restoration of James's sight, despite the challenges, opened doors for clinical trials. Hundreds of blind patients volunteered. Within a year, Zara's protocol had restored sight to 8 patients out of 20 trials. The success rate was improving. It did not work for everyone. Some forms of blindness were too complex, But for those it did work for, it was life-changing. Zara won awards, was nominated for a Nobel Prize, became one of the most celebrated researchers in the field. But she always said the same thing in interviews. None of this would have happened without my husband. He believed in me, he funded my work, and he was brave enough to be the first to try, knowing there was a 50% chance of failure, knowing he risked the comfortable life he had built. He gave me everything. 2 years after the surgery, Zara and James stood in the hospital nursery, looking through the window at a tiny sleeping baby. "She has your nose," James said, his eyes soft with wonder. "And your eyes," Zara said. Their daughter, son Zara Park, named after the grandmother who brought them together. James could not stop staring at her. At the tiny perfect fingers, the delicate features, the way her chest rose and fell. "I get to see her," he said quietly. "I get to watch her grow up, see her first steps, her first day of school. Zara, I get to see all of it." Zara leaned against him. "You know," she said, "I have been thinking about that fire, about how it brought us together." "What about it?" James asked. "I used to think it was the worst thing that ever happened to us," she said. "You lost your sight. I got this scar. We were separated for 20 years, but now I wonder if maybe it was the best thing." James turned to her. "How can you say that?" "Because it led us here," she said. "If there had been no fire, we would have been 2 kids who met once and never saw each other again. The fire marked us, connected us. You learned to experience the world in ways most people never do. You built an empire. You became who you are." "And you," James asked, "what did you gain?" "This scar," Zara said, holding up her hand. "This reminder that I am brave, that I run into burning buildings, that I do not back down. And this life, with you, with our daughter, with work that matters." James took her scarred hand and kissed it. "We saved each other," he said, "that day in the fire, and every day since." Their daughter stirred, and James's eyes were immediately drawn to her. "You know," he said, "someday she's going to ask how we met." "What will we tell her?" Zara asked. "The truth," James said, "that her mother saved my life twice, once in a fire when we were children, and once when she gave me the courage to see again, even when it was hard, even when I wanted to give up." "And you saved me," Zara said, "from a life where I was invisible. You saw me, really saw me, in all the ways that matter." James looked at his daughter, then at his wife, still amazed after 2 years that this was his life. "Both ways," he said. "I experience everything both ways now, seeing and not seeing, because both are valuable, both are beautiful. You taught me that." He pulled Zara close and kissed her, his eyes open, looking at her face. From darkness to light, from searching to finding, from blindness to sight, from alone to together. This was their story, this was their truth, this was their happily ever after. And it had only just begun. And that's the story of James and Zara. From a childhood rescue to a 20-year search to a fake engagement that became real love. From corporate espionage and real danger to a risky surgery and a miracle recovery. This story proves that sometimes our worst moments lead to our best outcomes. That disabilities don't define us, but they do shape us. That real love sees beyond the surface. That taking risks, even when we're scared, can change everything. If you loved this story, please like this video, comment your favorite moment, subscribe for more incredible stories, and share this with someone who needs to believe in second chances. Thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, we all have scars. But scars are proof we survived, we fought, we saved someone, or were saved ourselves. Your scar is part of your story. Wear it proudly.